Well, hello, Shireen. It's great to see you. I know we saw you at in-person church last week, which was fantastic. It was good to see you in 3D at last. But I'm conscious that since the last time most of the church saw you, you've moved house, haven't you?
That's right. In fact, I'm Jenny's neighbour now.
I do hope you're settling in really well. And I wondered whether you have any particular news or any prayer requests that you're happy to share, bearing in mind this video is accessible to anybody in the world if they're interested enough.
Yes, no, the move went very well thanks to the prayers of many folk, including people from friends from Dedworth Green, and I'm very thankful for that, because it was very stressful, because I moved during the COVID pandemic. It was delayed by 4 months, and so I was living out of boxes. So I'm thankful to be in my new home now, and gradually unpacking boxes, and it's lovely. Very, very happy here. Life is busy. I'm back at work, but I was hoping to go up to Manchester to go and collect my mother, who's a widow and lives on her own. But unfortunately, she has so many hospital appointments that she's a little bit fearful of a one that she's been waiting for coming through if I bring her down. So we've decided to delay it until November, and hopefully she will have received her hospital appointments, have attended the appointments, and then tick that box. So she's not been well. She suffers from back pain, and she's had a sore throat, which has made it difficult for her to speak on the phone. But otherwise, she's quite a strong, determined person, and very fiercely independent. So I'm thankful for that. So it'll be nice to bring her down. And in fact, when I bring her down, I'll probably keep her here for the Christmas period.
Yeah. We do sympathise with the challenges of having family in other parts of the country that are in lockdown. It's really difficult, isn't it? Yeah. So we're really grateful for the answered prayers in relation to your move, and we'll continue to bear you in mind in the weeks to come. But now I guess over to you for this week's reading from 2 Samuel chapter 7. And if you just give me a couple of seconds, I will take myself off the screen so that you can have the screen to yourself. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Matthew. So as Matthew has shared, the reading is from 2 Samuel chapter 7, and it's taken from the New International Version. God's Promise to David is the title of the passage. After King David was settled in his palace, and the Lord had given him rest from all his enemies around him, he said to Nathan the prophet, "Here I am, living in a house of cedar, while the ark of God remains in a tent." Nathan replied to the king, "Whatever you have in mind, go ahead and do it, for the Lord is with you." But that night, the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, this is what the Lord says. Are you the one to build me a house to dwell in? I have not dwelt in a house from the day I brought the Israelites up out of Egypt to this day. I have been moving from place to place with a tent as my dwelling. Wherever I have moved with all the Israelites, did I ever say to any of their rulers, whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, 'Why have you not built me a house of cedar?' Now then, tell my servant David, this is what the Lord Almighty says. I took you from the pasture, from tending the flock, and appointed you ruler over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and I have cut off all your enemies from before you. Now I will make your name great, like the names of the greatest men on earth. And I will provide a place for my people Israel, and will plant them so that they can have a home of their own and no longer be disturbed. Wicked people shall not oppress them anymore, as they did in the beginning and have done ever since the time I appointed leaders over my people Israel. I will also give you rest from all your enemies. The Lord declares to you that the Lord himself will establish a house for you. When your days are over and you rest with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you, your own flesh and blood, and I will establish his kingdom. He is the one who will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. For when he does wrong, I will punish him with a rod wielded by men, with floggings inflicted by human hands. But my love will never be taken away from him, as I took it away from Saul, whom I removed from before you. Your house and your kingdom shall endure forever. Before me, your throne shall be established forever. Nathan reported to David all the words of this entire revelation. Then King David went in and sat before the Lord, and he said, "Who am I, sovereign Lord, and what is my family that you have brought me this far? And as if this were not enough in your sight, sovereign Lord, you have also spoken about the future of the house of your servant. And this decree, sovereign Lord, is for a mere human." I'm going to move on to verse 28. Sovereign Lord, you are God. Your covenant is trustworthy, and you have promised these good things to your servant. Now be pleased to bless the house of your servant, that it may continue forever in your sight. For you, sovereign Lord, have spoken, and with your blessing, the house of your servant will be blessed forever.
Thank you so much, Shireen. We really appreciate your help with that. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. And trust that you continue to settle in well in your new home. Thank you. Now, the reading shows us that King David had his own king, and that king was the King of Kings.